AFC Bournemouth are yet to really make a big first team signing this summer. We've got Alex Poulsen, but he's not really going to start. So I asked you guys for your dream signings for Bournemouth this summer, and you gave me some pretty good ones and some pretty rubbish ones. Someone said Callum Wilson. I mean, I think we all know he's not coming back, but you'll see some of the worst ones come up here. But before we jump into it, if you could like and subscribe down below and leave a comment, who is your dream signing for AFC Bournemouth this summer? And as you can see there at the bottom left, our first option is Roro Riquelme, who we all know because he was on loan with us down in the Championship, and he never really got going. He had bright moments, bright sparks, but he never really performed to the levels and potential that he potentially had. But he's sort of turned his career around since. In 2022-23, he went on loan to La Liga 2, and he got 20 goals and assists, obviously on loan from Atletico Madrid. But this season, or season just gone, I should say, he's really had a breakthrough, and he's really got into that Atletico Madrid side and become almost a starter. I think he made 17 starts in the league. He got 3 goals and 5 assists, which is impressive numbers. But most impressively, he's playing in this like left wing back role, which for someone that's been a winger before, he was at Bournemouth and generally his whole career, if you're growing up as a winger, getting shoved into left wing back, that's got to be a big change. He's just turned 24, so he's got loads of time to grow, but he's just looking really mature. He won the man of the match against Feyenoord in the Champions League for Atletico Madrid. Like, is this the same Riquelme that we saw at Bournemouth? I don't think so. And I think he'd be a good option to take back. It depends where we're playing him, because at left back, Kelly's gone, so we sort of do need someone else to come in. But firstly, he's a left wing back, which we don't really play with. But secondly, do we want an unnatural left wing back? Potentially not. As a winger, we definitely don't need more wingers. But if we're going to rate him, I do really like the signing. He seems really mature. He seems like a really bright talent. He had that potential before. It seems like he's sort of reached it now. So I'm going to put him in. It could work. I would really like to see this as a loan or even as a permanent. He might cost quite a lot, which sort of is an obstacle, but I do think it could work. I wouldn't mind it. And I mean, everyone knows who this next player is. Aaron Ramsdale. He was just a fan favourite at Bournemouth. Everyone loved him. Just a great goalkeeper. And he's gone on to do great things at Arsenal and reach really good heights. But as we all know, David Raya's come in and he's been dropped. 6 games in the league, 11 games in total last season for Arsenal. He must be looking for a way out. We saw him linked with Southampton recently, and surely he's not going to Southampton when he's got an option like Bournemouth. Or, to be honest with you, he should be looking at better clubs, Newcastle, West Ham, someone like that. But if he's looking at Southampton, he can be looking at Bournemouth. So I would absolutely love this signing. I think for me personally, goalkeeper is actually the position that we need to strengthen the most this summer. I don't really think Neto's good enough. I don't think Travers is good enough. I think Aaron Ramsdale coming in would be the biggest upgrade we could make to this squad at all, any position. So yeah, maybe it's a little bit unrealistic, but I'm going to put Aaron Ramsdale in dream signing because he really is, in terms of the man, because we all love him, but in terms of the quality he brings to the squad. And I don't think it's completely unrealistic. By the way, that Ramsdale shout came in from AFCB Mackie, and this next shout comes from AFCB fan HW for Cameron Archer, who we have been linked with a little bit. Fabrizio Romano said that we have interest in him. Supposed meant to be 15 million, which, I mean, it's not mental in today's market, but it's not cheap. He's gone back to Villa because he was at Sheffield United last season and then they got relegated. So some sort of clause in his contract said he'd go back to Villa. And Villa, I don't think they particularly want him. They've got Ollie Watkins. Of course, Watkins might be leaving soon, but I think this is a player that Villa would probably like to let go. And I think this has really got to be a backup for Dom Solanke or a future option, because backup we've got Unal, who's a very decent player. But also for the future, we've already got Daniel Jebison, who we just signed, of course, also Sheffield United ex-striker. But I don't think that he's going to be at the levels of Dom Solanke very soon. I don't think Unal, I don't think he's ever going to be our Dom Solanke. I think Cameron Archer could be. He is a bright talent. He's only 22 years old. If we can hold on to Solanke for 1-2 years and Cameron Archer comes in and plays back up to him, learns off of him, I do think Cameron Archer, I like that, I think that could work. Right, I've just had to jump out the order a bit because I realised I had all the ones that I wanted right at the start and all the ones I didn't want at the end, and that would make a pretty rubbish video. But I've jumbled it up now, so we've got Dele Alli up next. 2 people recommended him. Reese and Ashley both recommended. And that surprises me. We didn't have many people that recommended twice. I think absolutely everyone said Aaron Ramsdale, but clearly people want him, and I just think this is problematic. Dele Alli I'm talking about, of course. He hasn't played football in 18 months, and there's issues there, of course, and I'm not treading on that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but as a player, like, do we really want someone like that, especially in Iraola's like high pressing system? Someone who might not really have that match sharpness, match fitness. I don't see it, and there's nothing at Dele Alli that like points out to me like I want this guy. I don't think he fills something massive in our squad, and yeah, I mean, he could. I was thinking like Ross Barkley, of course, had a real renaissance season at Luton Town. I think it's possible because Ali did used to be like an incredible footballer, and there's potential that could happen. Think I think this will be a free transfer. So I mean, there is a lot of upside and not a lot of potential downside, but at the same time, do we want to be wasting our time and resources on someone like this who, for me, doesn't really stand out as someone who's going to be incredible? So like, I'm sorry, Dele Alli. I'd like to see you get a move and do something cool, but no thanks, not for me at Bournemouth. Next up from Tom Doris, if I've said that right, he's recommended Matt O'Reilly from Celtic, and I absolutely love this one. This guy is really something special. He's actually Danish, and it's not a very Danish name, I know, because I don't think he's fully Danish, but Matt O'Reilly is an incredible footballer. 19 goals from central midfield for Celtic last season, helping them win the league. And I just think this will be incredible. I think we could play him at central attacking midfield as well, because for me, Clive, like, I've really liked him this season, but I don't think he's like natural as a 10. And I think we could see some great output from him on the wing. And I'd like to see a proper creative central attacking midfielder. I think Matt O'Reilly is that guy. I think he profiles similarly to your sort of Aaron Ramsey, a late box crasher, but also an engine in the midfield still, which works well with Iraola because he likes his runners. And I think this guy would be incredible. Dream signing for me. He's been linked with Saints, which I'm like, what? Like, how? He's also been linked with Atalanta. I think I saw figures of like 17 or 18 million pounds. So this again would be sort of a marquee signing, but I would love to see this happen. I didn't include a lot of the stupid ones because there were a lot, and I'm assuming there were jokes, but I'm not sure if this was a joke. Someone recommended Arda Güler, and they said because Real Madrid want to send him on loan. And I don't know if they're joking, but obviously this is never going to happen. I mean, he's a top baller. He'll go to like a very decent European side, go back to Real Madrid and be a future star for them. So no, not going to happen. Paul Bray recommended Jack Butland, which I do like. He has been very good at Rangers because obviously he was in the Prem like Stoke City, playing for England. Sort of fell off a bit. A lot of people probably forgot about him, but he's been playing for Rangers and he's been very good, along with Joe Hart also in Celtic, also in the SPFL. Both doing very well, but I wouldn't mind him because he'd be a very good keeper. You know, I think he's like 32, so you know, I wouldn't be keeping him for the long term, but I think we do need a keeper like that that's going to help us propel to look for top half or Europe, whilst we potentially wait for Travers or Poulsen to reach that level if they can. So I would like this. I don't know how much money it costs, but I do think this would be a good transfer. And Phil's, again, if you're recommending me a good goalkeeper, I'm going to be happy with it because I think that is where we need to strengthen. But would he leave Rangers, Jack Butland? I'm not sure. Because Rangers, that's European football, you know, playing for one of the best teams in that country, whereas we're not one of the best teams in England. Of course, I'd like to say we could compete with Rangers on the pitch, but I'm not sure. I think it could work. Tempted to say never gonna, nah, it's not never gonna happen. It could work. We've been linked a lot with Leeds over the last couple of years, haven't we? And AFCV Tom says Crescencio Somerville would be a good option for Bournemouth. And he is a top player. 19 goals, 9 assists in the Championship last season. Championship player of the season. Of course, just missed out on promotion of Leeds, losing the playoff final to Southampton. Sure, we all watched that. And some of you might have been happy, some of you might not have been. But do we need another winger? No, is my answer. I mean, we've already got Sinistera, who came from Leeds. Semenyo is quality. Never want to drop Semenyo. You've got Tavernier. I mean, we've got Anthony coming back, who, whether he sticks around, we'll see. David Brooks. There's more. I mean, Clive obviously plays in the middle, but I don't think we need another winger. I would love to see him at our club, but I think he's going to cost a lot of money. Like, they rejected 20 million from Burnley for this player last year. Liverpool and Chelsea have been interested this summer. I think he'll cost, I'm saying 30 million, 35, even 40 million. We don't need to pay that for a winger. I mean, I don't think we should pay that for anybody. But if we were, it would be a Dom Solanke replacement or maybe a Aaron Ramsdale. We don't need to pay that for another winger. despite how good he is. So I'm actually putting him in no thanks. Not because I don't want him as a player, but because I don't want to sign Crescencio Somerville. Joel Matip recommended from John. I think we've been loosely linked with him, but by like not very reliable sources. But he's just left Liverpool. His contract expired. He has been injured since I think about December. So that is one to watch out for, especially with like our injury record. You guys, I'm sure, have seen Tyler Adams out again until about October. But he would be a good addition to the squad in terms of the dressing room. Of course, he's a Champions League winner, Premier League winner, been playing at the top level for many, many years, and generally on the pitch would be a very good player. Like he would be an upgrade on Senesi and Zabani. Some of you might not like that, but I think at this point he is. But the problem is, I think he'd stunt Senesi and Zabani's growth. We need to have both of them on the pitch because both of them can reach really high levels, but you need them playing football for that. And I think, what is the point in playing Matip when it's going to stop those two from getting better and they're going to be for the future or sell for a lot of money? Also think Matip would be high wages. So overall for me, no thanks. I can see it. I can see why you'd want him. I think he's a very good player. But yeah, no. Actually, I haven't put anyone in not bothered. I'll put Matip in not bothered. Will Partridge recommended Jobe Bellingham, and I think everyone knows how good Jude Bellingham is, but Jobe Bellingham is still only 18 years old and 7 goals last season for Sunderland in the Championship. Obviously at Birmingham before, but I just think he'd be extremely overpriced because of how good his brother is. And obviously he's a good player, but I don't think that we really want to be spending. I reckon it's going to be £20 million for Bellingham, and I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. So I'm putting him in no thanks. And also, he's going to go to some mental club in the future, and I don't think that we really have the pull to even get him. But even if we did, I don't really want to spend that much on a player that we have good players in his position already. I think Fran Garcia, recommended by Morgan, is another dream signing. There's solid rumours from the Athletic that we do admire him and we do want him. And Antonio Raiola has captained him at Rayo Vallecano before, at obviously his former club. This guy, if you don't know him, because some of you might not, he's plays for Real Madrid and does seem like a big talent, a very good player, playing at Vallecano, reached some really high levels. But he's only 24, so he's not really seen as a wonder kid. He's a left back, didn't mention that, and I think that is a position we want to be looking at with Kelly leaving. Actually, I think that's harsh on Kirkes. I do really like Kirkes, but I also do think we could be recruiting at left back. And Garcia's experienced, played at Real Madrid, and really just a very high level player. And I do think this would be a dream signing for me. Hannah recommended James Tavernier, obviously his brother Marcus Tavernier at Bournemouth already. And Tavernier is an extremely attacking right back. And he's also really good at set pieces. And that's something we struggle with. We don't really have anyone that scores loads of free kicks or has incredibly good corners. But I mean, even without them, he's got 17 goals and 10 assists in the league last season, obviously in Scotland, Rangers as well. But he's only 32. No, he is 32. That's old and doesn't really suit our project. I mean, who's the oldest player we've signed under Bill Foley? Like 26-year-old Unau, I think. And the James Tavernier, I think, will have high wages. Probably Rangers' best player, playing in European football, winning the league over there. And I also don't think he would join us. So I've just stuck him in never going to happen there, because if he's going to leave Rangers, I think he could go to a very high level club. But I don't think he wants to leave Rangers. I mean, he's 32. He's been there for quite a long time. And he's playing not Champions League, but like Europa League football. I don't think this is one that would happen. And the final player on this list is Matheus Vinha, who, again, I've done a few past FC Bournemouth players, and this one is another one. He was on loan, of course, and a lot of our fans really liked him, and he scored some important goals, of course, Tottenham away. We all remember that. But I don't know. He was never that good defensively. I remember him getting absolutely rinsed by Noni Madueke, Chelsea at home at the end of the season. Generally, of course, we need to recruit another left back, but profiles very similarly to Kirkes, who again is very good attacking. I think we should sign someone that profiles similarly to Kelly, very good defensively, and then we've got those two who have different strengths. I don't want us to sign this guy. If we went and got him cheap, he is a good attacking player, and I think he would be a good addition. So I'll put him in not bothered, but I don't want to be spending loads and loads of money on this guy because it's not the kind of player I want us to sign. I think this summer, you can probably see from the list, goalkeeper, think is a big target for us. A strong defensive left back, and I think I do like the Archer one because Dom Solanke, I think we do need to be looking at what we're going to do with him afterwards. After he leaves, I mean, we need to have a plan, and I think we need to get someone like Archer in right now and train him up for ready for when Solanke leaves, so we can just hit the ground running with our Solanke replacement. But yeah, there is my tier list. I mean, Aaron Ramsdale is the dream signing for anyone. I mean, what a summer. I wouldn't care who else we signed. If we've got Aaron Ramsdale in, that would be absolutely perfect. But let me know what you change on the list and who your dream signing is down in the comments below. Drop a sub if you haven't already, like all of that good stuff. And I'll catch you guys later.